With all the criticisms of the river gap leading up to the race, even with half the field not being serious competitors,
What I'm most scared of, actually, is being able to do a full run.
for the last 5 racers, I was on the edge of my seat, nervous and giddy, glued to a YouTube live stream that I didn't have to pay for. UCI is in so much trouble.
Keep it rolling. Oh my god! Sometimes you can be a bit too aggressive.
So Bernard Kerr is fighting back here in this run. And on everybody's lips at the moment. First time on the factory ride this year, and he is delivering. The pace these top guys ride at is excellent.
I absolutely enjoyed Hardline Wales so much. Once again, it absolutely delivered. And the Hardline series in general absolutely lived up to what it is, the hardest tracks in the world. I kind of 3 takeaways from the race this weekend, and the first one being, I love the changes they did to the track. This new upper section is so much more technical, even though everybody was like, oh my God. I mean, this kind of happened with Poland. This kind of happened now with the thing. In the preview videos, they're not going to show you that you're not going to be able to take in how gnarly it is until the race actually comes. And my goodness, the new top out of the section is so much more gnarly than the old section. In the old section, you kind of had a little bit of rocks, but it was more of like a pedally motorway section in the top. Then you kind of got into the trees, which was kind of technical with that one big slab drop, leading into kind of the big step down into the metal jump. Now it is just full on rock gardens all the way down into some absolutely insane downward facing drops. I can absolutely promise you the riders, this pushed the riders this weekend. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. I also liked how they tied it in to the drop after the old metal jump. The drop into those turns before the 90s, I thought since they decided to not include the river gap, that change they made, I loved tremendously. I honestly love that drop. I think riders hate hitting that drop, but that's what makes it a great race drop, a good hardline drop, a drop that riders hate hitting, but is fast and technical and pushes riders. So super excited about that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is that Ronan Dune is absolutely here to stay. He's not going anywhere. Kerr wanted this one badly, and he couldn't because he came up against an absolutely unstoppable force that is Ronan Dune. It'll be exciting to see how his momentum from this win takes him into Leogang because he is riding absolutely at the top of his powers right now. And now, the third thing I want to talk about is Red Bull is just taking UCI's cake at this point. I know we've had 2 great races for UCI this year, but it was races that we didn't get to watch. They were races that you could only find bits and clips here online, and it is just not the same than watching the stream, even not watching it live. Just watching it after the race and watching every rider's run that you wanted to. We missed that from UCI, and it's hurting them. There is not this much hype level over Leogang in a week as there normally is compared to this absolutely media blitz that was Hardline Wales. I was super excited for this race, and it turned out amazing. I can't wait to see if they'll add another stop next year. I wouldn't be surprised knowing Red Bull. And UCI better watch out. I made a prediction video earlier this year that I'll link that this Hardline series could potentially take over downhill racing, and it's making a big impact. The riders know it. The riders would much rather, as I've said multiple times during the broadcast, that riders would rather win Hardline than a World Cup. And I know that UCI right now has prestige, and that's about it. The historical prestige of winning the overall World Cup, that might go away if these tracks cannot keep up with Hardline. These Hardline tracks are far more difficult, and it takes the absolute best to win here. Now, the only thing still holding back, as I said in another video, the only thing holding back Hardline right now is the riders list. And while it is super fun to watch Matt Jones, to watch Tommy G race at events like this, they're not racers. And so you kind of have this 10 racers of cannon fodder who aren't racers, who aren't really competing for the top spot. And so they don't really matter. They're just kind of fun. I will say it was not nearly as bad as Tasmania. There were far more kind of free riders at Tasmania, whereas I felt like the field was a lot more competitive here at Wales, so good for them. Anyway, that's my reaction to Hardline. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What do you think that UCI should do if they're going to try and kind of fix this gap that's starting to build between Hardline and the UCI. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.